Hello, it's Bob from Up Trail 71. I'm back with another live stream, and our special guest is Devin from Backcountry Exposure.
Howdy.
And Devin is from
Thanks for having.
Devin's from Utah.
Yep, you got it.
And I remember I first found your channel because I was searching all over for different areas to backpack, and Utah was one I was kind of interested in. And of course, first one I found was Devin. That was maybe I'm thinking around 2015 or something like that. So I've
Okay,
been
it's pretty
following you
early
for
on.
yes, I've been following you for a long time.
Wow, that's you might be one of the original subscribers then.
Yes, well, pretty close. You may have had right around maybe 1,000. You had, I think, around that time.
Okay,
So I'm not sure where you're at now. 40 something.
it's like 46,000,
That's amazing,
47,000, something like that.
right? And I'm at about 3,300 and change or whatever. And I've been around for a long time, but I don't make very many gear videos, and that always hurts. Mostly just trip videos, and I like doing these live streams. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, we all have different motivations for how we choose to use our channels and the content that we put out. So,
Right, and I love gear videos, and there's only a handful that I watch for gear videos for reviews. It's like Frozen. I always liked his. You got
okay.
Dan Becker is just taken off. I mean,
Oh, right,
he's
right.
really, really good. Shug for hammocks.
Hmm.
He's always got. I always have
Yeah, I
to
really
watch.
like Shug.
And then there's,
Yeah.
like Devin here. Devin's got a variety of tents. Something I'm getting more interested in now. I know you do a lot of tent camping, and hot tent.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny that it was last week you had Mark Spaguyver on your
Yes,
show. Yeah. So I think I have as many tents as Mark has hammocks.
hammocks. Right.
Like, but I mean, you don't even see probably half of the number of tents that I actually have because I have like other tents that are
Right.
down in a crawl space and not on my shelf that you actually see on the in my gear
Right.
videos and stuff.
Right. And I think I've owned about maybe 6 or 7 hammocks now. And we used tents years ago. I mean, like old Walmart tents and stuff. And this year I bought a Marmot one. It's a 2 person, but a little
Okay.
heavier. I think it's around 5 pounds. So it's a heavier tent. But we're
Yeah, it's still
just,
not that bad.
right. But the only reason why we bought that, okay, I got cheap to on Black Friday for $140. But we
Hey,
wanted, it's a 2 person tent, and that's what we're going to use when we do our through hike in about 5 or 6 years. So it's kind of
yeah,
just like a
that'll
little
be
a training thing.
yeah, that'll be great. Is it the tungsten or the limelight?
Yeah, I think it's tungsten is called.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great line of tents.
It
Marmot
is.
does a good job. They have a
For
nice design for sure.
right, and for a 2 person tent, we tested it. We set up in our living room the best we could.
You-
I mean, we got a foot of snow on the ground outside, or so, maybe a
oh
little
yeah,
more than that.
it's a requirement to set it up in your room then.
And I'm surprised for a 2 person tent, there's enough room. So it's not that bad, or unless they just make it bigger than most 2 person tents. I don't know.
It's possible, but are you using 25-inch pads or just standard 20-inch pads?
We don't even have a pad yet. we have these old foam pads like you lay on, but well, we have to get some kind of a sleeping pad that's air. Otherwise, those foam pads are very uncomfortable.
Right, right. What through hike are you planning on doing?
The Appalachian Trail.
Excellent. Northbound or southbound?
Well, we'll start on the southern end in Georgia and hike up to Maine.
Cool.
And then we got
That's
hike with Mike saying hello. You
hey,
can see him in the chat here. And then we got Brenda and the blind hiker.
nice to have some folks here and hanging out.
Yeah, it's always fun to have the chat. Last week I had a stream with Spaguyver, Mark from Spaguyver Backpacking, and I forgot to set it to public. I had it on private, but you get to see everybody got to see a replay.
I thought it was a good chat.
Yeah, it was a lot of
He,
fun.
yeah.
Now,
Mark is. Have I
have you
met
met
Mark?
have you met him yet or not?
No, not in person. We've
No,
had plenty of conversations back and forth through chat and such, but
right.
Yeah, never had a chance to meet anybody. In fact, the only, I mean, we're speaking of like the YouTube folks,
Right.
I've I've met quite a few people, but not as many as I would hope. And it's kind of interesting, like here in Utah, there's not that many of us that are active on YouTube.
Oh,
And I mean, when you compare it to like, there's all the Ohio YouTubers,
Ohio.
right?
Right. And Michigan's starting to get quite a
But
few
yeah,
also.
there's like, and then you've got all the like the 3 or 4 Kentucky boys, and there's just a lot of active YouTubers over on that side of the country. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to spend much time with too many various YouTube creators.
Right. And we have the blind hiker says, Mark seems like a nice guy. Yes, Mark is very nice. I've
Yeah, he's
known
good
him through
people.
YouTube for a long time. Now, I can't remember what year it was. Maybe about 4 years ago, I started on Facebook, our backpacking YouTube creators group.
Right.
That's an idea I had. And the first two I contacted, was Mark and then Devin. So I wanted you guys to be administrators for the group. So, and it took off pretty good. We have
Yeah,
what,
I
250
think
members or so?
I think it's closer to 300 at this
It
point.
could be. A
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
lot of good suggestions on there. Of course, that's only
Yeah,
for creators now.
right, right. Yeah, I think it has taken off, and it's a really good resource for anybody that is a backpacking outdoor YouTube channel
Mm-hmm.
to just bounce ideas off each other. Like it's very supportive.
It is.
I think it was a good move on your part.
Yeah, it's just some idea I had. And then I noticed somebody else somewhere had a similar Facebook group like that. I ended up finding later on. I don't
Oh,
remember
is that
who it
right?
was. Yeah, it's from a different area in the U.S.
Hmm.
So there's another one somewhere. I don't know how many people are in it, but let's see. Questions here. Some of a voice go, I backpack and a sleeping pad. Oh, I remember those days when we were kids. I don't think we had sleeping pads. We'd had a sleeping bag and a tent, and that's what
I
we
was gonna
did.
say that's almost like a rite of passage for you to.
Now, now, how do your kids like backpacking?
They love it. So
Yeah.
you can see here behind me my two
Oh, yes.
girls. I got 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, and then a 6-month-old. And my oldest, she loves it. She just asks all the time, like, when are we going to go hiking? When are we go camping? I took her on her first, like, true backpacking trip in June of 2020. It was kind of like during the whole start of the pandemic, needed to
Mm-hmm.
just get out, and she had a blast. But we've been taking her, so we kind of like started this project that we called 11K with May. So her name is Maylin,
Oh,
and when she was like, I don't know, 6, 7, 9 months old, something like that. Here, where I live in Utah, there are several 11,000 foot peaks here in the mountain range called the Wasatch Mountain Range. So we made a goal to summit as many of these 11,000 foot peaks as possible with her, and had her in like one of those kid comfort, like Deuter uh, kid carrier backpacks. And so at 9 months old, she was hiking on my back. She wasn't
yeah.
actually walking, but 9 months old, she had been to the top of like several 10,000 foot peaks and uh, a couple 11,000 foot peaks. And
That's a long ways up.
so yeah, she enjoys it because I think that's just she's grown up with it, and she knows like that's what you do with dad. You go hiking.
Right. Now, Michigan here, I think the Porcupine Mountains and those areas, well, they call them mountains, but they're really not. They're just like high hills.
Sure.
I think our highest point is like 1,979 feet.
Is
So
that
we're
right?
not even 2,000 feet.
Yeah, I live at 4,500 feet, so
Right.
that's
So,
a bit taller.
that's for sure.
But
Okay. Okay, Hike with Mike, he's from Florida. Says he never used a sleeping pad, but I'm sleepy and soft. Florida
The
sugar.
Florida
That's
sugar
true.
sand.
Yeah, I suppose that sand would be kind of soft. I don't know.
Yeah.
I never been to Florida. Further
I mean,
south.
if it's anything like Utah sand, which it's not, like let's be real. That's Florida. I've never been to Florida, but like those white sand beaches that people talk about, super soft. So, but yeah, sleeping on sand, that's got to be cozy.
Right. Never. Not sure if I tried it. Maybe as kids we did. I don't know. Hey, Brenda says she has a big Agnes Tiger Wall 2 tent, but no ground cover yet, as I do not want to go broke getting the footprint. Oh, getting in the footprint, I see. The tent is so light. Do you think Tyvek would be enough? Tyvek for a ground sheet? That would be all right, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. If you have easy access to it,
Right.
or like a polycro, just like painter's
Mm-hmm.
plastic,
Right.
that's even cheaper from like Home Depot or Lowe's, like the hardware store.
Right.
That's a good option. But the Tyvek, yeah, I mean, if you can get some, that's a really good option as well. It's just really noisy, so you have to like
Right.
soften it up and
Right. That's what I did for. I have a piece of Tyvek for underneath my hammock. I think it's like 2 foot by 3 foot. It's just
gotcha.
nice getting in and out. And you don't have to step on the ground.
Yeah,
But
I think for Brenda specifically, an easy place to get Tyvek is either Amazon or um, where did
right.
I think it was Dutchware
Dutch
that
had some, I know.
I got my last like chunk of Tyvek.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
Mark here again. I'm at work covering the Cavs Jazz game tonight. Who are
oh,
you
go
picking,
Jazz!
Devin? Utah.
Obviously, I'm a Jazz fan.
Yeah.
It's the only professional. Well, I shouldn't say that. We have a professional soccer team, but one of two professional sports teams that we have here in the state. So
Yeah, I'm a Michigan fan, so everything Michigan's been horrible. Lions are terrible. I mean, Detroit Pistons, they only win a handful of games. Red Wings are not the same team anymore, even though they dominated for like 25 years.
yeah,
Okay, Hike, Mike. I used construction Visqueen for a ground sheet.
yeah, Visqueen.
Visqueen, yeah.
That's basically like in a way similar to painters like drop cloth plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Super slippery when it gets wet, so it makes for a good slip and slide.
All right. Now, speaking of tents, you use the hot tent for winter camping, sometimes at least, if not all the
Mhm.
time now. Now,
Majority of the time in the winter.
how much does that weigh with the stove? I know it's fairly lightweight, considering.
Yeah, I mean so the stove that I use is the 3W or Wild West titanium stove, and with the stovepipe, I want to say it's like 6-ish pounds. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not terrible.
Right.
Um, there are plenty of other stoves out there on the market now. Some that are smaller, which makes them lighter. But then depending on the tent that I use, the tent is either like 2 to 4 pounds with the center pole.
Mm-hmm. So that's not too bad,
So
really.
it's really not that bad considering that like it's winter. You're not really walking that far
Right.
because like nobody likes to walk that far in the snow.
No.
Um, and oftentimes like I'm either doing it from the car and just enjoying like a quick overnight to make it simple and easy,
Right.
but it is a lot of fun to backpack in a mile or two and set up the stove and have it be below freezing
Right.
at night, but inside the tent it's like 40 to 50 degrees and just super cozy.
Yeah, that'd be the way to go, especially up here.
Yeah, right. Where it's like, I don't know. I spent some time a couple winters in New England back in the early 2000s,
Right.
and I was shocked at how cold it gets when it's also humid out. Because here in Utah, like
Right.
it's so dry, like it'll be less than 10% humidity.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
like
that's very dry.
crazy dry. But then those 2 winters that I spent in New England, one was in northern Maine, and the other next year was in Burlington, Vermont, so right off of Lake
Hmm.
Champlain. And
Right.
the wind that just like whipped off of Lake Champlain.
Right.
I've never experienced cold like that before in my life.
Yeah.
So
We. I went on a trip out to Maine back when I graduated high school, quite a few years ago now. I think it's 1990 actually. And
okay,
we came back through, and we took a ferry ride across Lake Champlain to Plattsburgh. If you ever heard
oh
of that, yeah,
yeah, kind of on the north end.
that's a good sized lake.
It is. It
It's
is.
very big.
It even has its own monster.
Right, I've seen a show on that.
I'm trying to remember what the monster's
Oh, I can't remember either. I watched a show on it.
Champ.
Champ. There you go.
Yeah, his name's Champ.
Okay, let's check here. Oh, we have Ben on here. It says hello, Devin.
Hey, Mr. Hilltop Packs and Coffee.
Yeah,
How you doing, brother?
yeah. You had some. What's your go-to food now for backpacking? I see you have. What's that called? It's some kind of. It's not mountain house, of course. Like I usually just end up buying that cheap mountain houses, but
Yeah. So it's Peak Refuel,
there you go, peak.
and actually happened to be an ambassador for them. So
Oh, okay.
as long as I'm an ambassador, you'll only ever see me eating
Okay, I was gonna say,
Peak Refuel for a dehydrated option.
right. And I hear it's good food.
Super good food. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember Syntax 77. Had tried it once and he really liked it.
Yeah, and I've been an ambassador for them, I think since 2018, so not long after they launched as a company, and
Hmm.
have just watched them grow and grow and get bigger and bigger, and the food that they put out is really good.
Oh,
But
I have to
they
try it.
but they also have like a I don't know, a pretty good history of a lot of experience in the freeze dried like food industry.
Uh-huh.
So working with nutritionists and people that understand how things are supposed to be freeze dried and how to make
Right.
really good recipes. So the thing that makes their meals so good and why I'm an ambassador for them, but the reason I'm an ambassador is because the food is that delicious. Like
I
I don't have to go dig a cat hole first thing in the morning because my stomach's been upset, like
right.
from the dinner before. So it's all real meat, no soy products, very little preservatives. Like it's just really good food.
And I just found some hamburgers, dehydrated ones, and I can't remember what company it was from. Somewhere down, say, the Utah area or one of those states. And I ordered them, and it's not cheap. I may have paid like $30 for 6 hamburgers, but something we're gonna try. We just
Like
have to.
dehydrated whole hamburgers.
And yes,
What?
I can't wait till we. I suppose keep that a secret, but
Oh,
but it'll be on one of my 2022 trip videos. You'll see that.
wow.
So I can't wait to try that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Okay, yeah, blind hiker. He's saving up to get several peak meals. So, oh, Shelter Trace through hike. Awesome. I loved it. We
So
hiked a little bit of that.
the Sheltoe Trace.
Yeah, a
That
few miles.
that trail seems to have gotten pretty popular in the last couple years, or at least I just
Right.
hear it getting talked about a lot.
Right. Jason wished he did those fastest times through there. I don't know,
Right.
what, 4.5, 5 days. He did the 300 and plus miles.
Yeah, and Jupiter had gone for a FKT on it as well, and I know that John Kelly
Right.
has gone through and
I,
done it.
yes.
So
Yes. That's a long distance, actually. I
yeah,
I don't know. I
something
don't know
I've
how
never
them
done.
guys can do it that fast. Oh, we have a question coming up. Hike and Mike. Favorite place to camp and hike in Utah?
Yeah. Can I just say the whole state?
The whole
Is
state?
that fair?
No, I remember I watched a video with Dan Becker came out there. I think Bryce Newbold, he camped
Hmm.
with you. That was in Utah,
Yeah,
right?
we spent a weekend in Canyonlands National Park,
Okay.
and so yeah, it's not fair for me to say Utah as a whole because I mean Utah is a massive recreation playground, but the
Right.
Capitol Reef National Park and the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument, it's kind of this massive like 200,000 to 300,000 acre area that is it's a massive playground, and you watch my channel, that's what you're going to see. So
Right.
Escalante, um, and Capitol Reef National Park, just that whole area is where my main focus is right now.
Hmm. Is that where you went with? I believe Tim Watson went there, correct? Were you with him
No,
or?
I
Oh, you weren't.
so I took Tim, Josh, and Josh up
Okay.
to the Uinta Mountains.
And where's that
So
about? That's in Utah, right?
um, yeah, so it's northern Utah,
Okay.
and it's a mountain range that runs east to west, so perpendicular
Mm.
to the Wasatch Front that goes through northern Utah. Um, and it's a very old mountain range. So when you look at pictures of the Uinta wilderness, all of the
Right.
mountains are just like rounded and like it's a very old range. So um, there was there was a movie that was released that people might be familiar with called Highline that
Yes.
featured the guys from Z-Pax,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the Uinta mountain range.
Yeah, I remember that video. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, yeah, really nice. Kind of
Like it,
like
like
a hidden gem that gets
right.
overlooked by the winds and
Mm-hmm.
stuff in Wyoming. So,
Right. That's like the Bighorn Mountains I went to in 2016. It's a
mhm.
less known area, so it was nice because there's less people, you know.
Yeah,
And I loved it. It's a beautiful state
yeah.
and
There's
area.
really good fishing
Right.
in the Bighorns.
Okay. Yeah. Hike Mike says old meals are pretty awesome. They're a bit pricey. I've had those.
I've never had those.
Yeah, I've tried them already. They're not bad. My Life Outdoors. What company makes the hamburgers? I don't even remember what it was. I ordered it. I actually ordered them in July for our July trip, but then we ended up not using them. It was we took some with us for the trip, and we ended up just taking regular meals because we had to hike up that mountain and that, so less weight and stuff.
Is it
Figure
is it is it just the bun and the
no,
burger?
it's the burger. It
It's
comes in
only
a
the meat.
it's only the meat, correct? So you take
Ah,
your
okay.
own buns you take with and your ketchup and whatever. And
So then you take it out of the bag and it's like dripping from soaking in the water.
I have no idea how it's gonna turn out. It should be very interesting when I do make
You're
that
gonna make a
video.
video, right?
Oh yes,
Okay.
that'll. I don't know when we'll go. I'm guessing usually May, April, May, somewhere around there.
Nice.
Okay, outdoors inspired. I remember his channel. I think he's from Colorado. Up Trail.
Not
What's
not
up, man? How you
familiar.
been? I've been good. Just a little cold up here. Actually, today was warm. Got in the mid 20s. So it was one of our warm days. Now it's supposed now Friday the high is supposed they're predicting 10 degrees again. So
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's cold.
Jupiter's Florida Trail series was awesome. I didn't see his. I mean, I watched Homemade Wanderlust hike the Florida Trail. Oh, did I?
Yeah, the Florida. Can you call the Florida Trail a trail?
It goes through swamps.
Was swamp walking?
I think that'd be fun. I think I missed Brenda. Any suggestions for meals that are high fat or have more fat? Any suggestions there?
Oh, not. I don't know. I think most of the time I focus on
The
like
calories.
the calories and the carbohydrates and the protein. But I mean, if you're talking your general macros, you'd want to include fats in there too.
Good, good question.
Yeah. I, in terms of like dehydrated food, I don't
Pork
have.
skins. Pork skins, I guess that would
Yeah.
work.
I'm not a nutritionist.
Neither am I.
Sorry for not having a better answer to that.
I would have to research that one too. Like I say, we usually go by calories for backpackers. And they want to take in so
Yeah,
many
I mean,
calories.
well, so like peanut butter
Yes,
has
peanut butter.
high fat,
Hmm.
and anything with a lot of oils in it.
Right. My
So
life
this would be
outdoors. What's the dumbest thing you have ever done while hiking? Oh, I can name quite a few on that one.
proceed, and I'll think about it.
Well, number one is my pure hiking trail hike. I I don't know what I did wrong with my map on my phone. That how your map didn't come up. I could see my compass part of it on the phone, and I used the trail maps, for this pure hiking trail, which I kind of I just kind of ignored it, I guess.
Hmm.
So I looked at the sign, and the sign had two arrows. Well, I was supposed to go to the right, and I went to the left. It's kind
Oh
of a little
no!
bit. It was a little bit tricky the way the sign was set up. So I hiked a grand total of 5.2 miles wrong way. That's my number one mistake.
It's
There's
good
quite a
fitness,
few.
right?
Yes, a little warm up. I think I said in the video. End up being a 29-mile day because of that. And I
That's a
mean,
big
like
day. That's a
forgetting
really big
gear.
day.
Forgetting gear. My wife forgot her. I think it was her underquilt on our trip down in Cumberland Gap. So I let her use my. I let her use mine, and I just wrapped up in it. Whatever It was actually a warm night, so it wasn't a big deal.
Just snuggle.
So
You'll be all right.
right. I don't think we ever forgot. I don't think we ever forgot food though.
That's good.
No, no, how
I
about
can
you?
imagine how bad it would be forgetting your food bag or something.
I'm trying to think. I mean, we may have forgot a few small items, but nothing real major, I guess. How
Yeah.
about you? Have you ever forgotten any gear or anything?
Um, I'm pretty particular in like
Yeah.
my packing processes, so I've not actually forgotten any like critical pieces of gear on a backpacking trip. I've been with friends that have
Hmm.
forgotten specific things. My buddy Will, Wasatch Will, he forgot insoles. Like he took out the insoles in his shoes and
Hmm.
forgot to put them back in. So imagine hiking without any insoles in your shoes. But I don't know. I've made a mistake in. So I teach a backpacking class at the university
Okay.
that's close to me, and I made a mistake in not properly educating my students on the right amounts of foods to bring. And we
Right.
had a whole discussion about here's the food that you should bring and the types of food and why. But at the grocery store, you can get those like 2 foot long, like summer sausages.
Right. Yes.
So I told my students like, oh, summer sausage is great to take into the on a backpacking trip because it doesn't spoil. Like you don't really have to refrigerate it. You just need to like keep it wrapped on the open end of it. So one of my students brought literally the only food in the entire trip was one of those like 24-inch
Oh,
like
geez.
summer sausages. They're like a baseball bat, right? And
Right.
he ate the entire thing in 2 days.
Wow.
Like he was not happy.
I bet.
So it
Oh,
was dumb for him to do that, but also dumb for me to not pay better attention to what he was eating, and it led to some
yeah.
pretty gnarly experience on the second
Right.
night for him, as you can imagine.
I forgot my hiking shoes once.
Oh man,
I had just some cheap shoes. I ended up from getting from Walmart, and they're not the most comfortable, but it works
Blisters?
anyway.
Did you get a
No,
lot of
I didn't
blisters?
get it. It was kind of a sandy trail. It was like a 20-mile loop, the Manistee River Trail
Okay.
in Lower Michigan. So I mean, it worked out, but I guess that's the only real thing.
Yeah.
Now, I know we once years ago we forgot our trekking poles. We used to use trekking poles at one time. We forgot them. We got all the way up the Porcupine Mountains. Like, oh no! And that's the first time we went without trekking poles, and never used them again.
Did you need them for pitching your tent or just for the
No,
sake of
just
the
for
convenience of having poles?
right. Yeah.
Gotcha.
After that trip though, we never used them again. We
I don't
decided,
I don't hike with them very often either.
right. I mean, I would never tell anybody don't use them because they are good at they do help your knees and stuff and river
Right.
crossings
Right.
and
Oh yeah.
okay, Mark, you're Devin. It always looks like the desert where you go. It's always a desert
Yes.
here. It is kind of right. Are there still any kinds of crazy bears or death cats out there?
Yeah. Um no, it's pretty funny because Utah is not known to have like a big bear population. Um like I've never carried any bear spray on a trip here in Utah. I've never used a bear canister here in Utah. So in the Uinta Mountains, I mean, that's a high alpine kind of scenario. There are bears up there, but I've never seen one up there. Bryce Canyon National Park has black bears, and if you overnight hike in Bryce Canyon, you've got to have like a bear canister and stuff. But or at least an Ursac. I don't think they actually require canisters.
Hmm.
But outside of that, there's actually a pretty large population of mountain lions
Oh,
in Utah, like all throughout the state.
wow.
So Capitol Reef National Park, for example, they have backcountry rangers that actually research the patterns and like the way that the lions move throughout that part of the state. So it's pretty cool, but
Hmm.
never seen any bears, but I have had two encounters, mild encounters with cats. Not anything that is worth telling a story about because
Right.
saw them in the distance, like or yeah,
Yeah, I had one in my
wasn't a big
backyard.
deal.
My mountain lions are very rare in our up here in this area.
Is that right?
But we had one that's roaming around here about 10 years ago, and I was in my backyard. I seen it, and it made a weird noise, growling noise, kind of like at me. It's like,
Mm.
I'm definitely not gonna mess around with that.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
big.
Yeah, it's you've probably seen like that viral video going around of the kid that was hiking here in Utah and
Right.
had the cat protecting her babies and yeah, that was in fact where that was filmed and where that incident took place is a canyon that was only like 2 or 3 minutes away from my house
Wow.
in the previous city that I lived in
Hmm.
and I it was like, oh my gosh, that's Slate Canyon. And I filmed a bunch of videos at the time up there. And when I wanted to go on a quick 2 hour long hike, I'd go up that canyon. So yeah, there's mountain lions all over the place.
Hiker Mike here actually he says, get him up here. There's a bit too much of road hiking in the Florida Trail.
Mm.
Yeah, that is true from what I heard.
On pavement or
I believe there's
on
pavement. If I remember watching some other videos, I believe it's like pavement or it could be a dirt road, or whatever. But yeah, it's part of the trails, road hiking, and I know it's not that much fun when you do the road hiking, but they have to
yeah,
put a trail together.
and I wonder. I know the Florida Trail like goes through the Everglades and such, but then outside of that, I don't really know where the trail goes and how it follows the
Right.
state.
Yeah, I never looked into it very much myself.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of like public lands
Right.
or such in Florida, and I think the tallest point is not much higher either.
There you go. Speaking of fishing for you, nice comment. Recommend an affordable.
An affordable Tenkara rod setup. Yeah, so
Ah,
I use the Tenkara Rodco Beartooth rod right now. I had the Sierra rod, but I gifted it to somebody, a friend of mine. But I think it's the Dragon. There's a popular brand on Amazon that is worth checking out. I've got a friend that uses one of those rods. And I can't. It's like Dragon something. I can't remember the exact name, but I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of money on any piece of gear to go out and have a good
right.
time.
Right. My fishing pole, who knows? It's probably a $30 one or something.
Yeah, and you probably
It works.
have caught a lot of fish on it, right?
Right. We only
Yeah.
live about 300 feet from a lake, so
Yeah.
it was good enough.
Yeah, you don't need to spend a lot of money. You're still gonna catch fish, and so I would check out Amazon
I
to
remember you
see
had a
what
video.
that brand is.
You had videos of fishing once.
I've done a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, kind of
I'm not
trying to
sure.
share my fly fishing.
Right.
Um, yeah, but I've done a little bit of. I know I've got at least one video of me fishing up in Wyoming that got hardly any views, but that doesn't matter. One thing you always
One thing I always
forget.
forget. Yeah, I don't forget very much because I keep about half my gear in my pack all the time. I have my pack hanging on a wall, on a hook, and then
Mm-hmm.
about half of the gear
Got
is still
everything you
except
need in it.
right, except for like the down stuff. I keep that all in
Oh,
the
sure.
bags, because you don't want to keep that compressed. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'd say at least half of my gear is always in the pack, so I'm not gonna forget the main things anyway. Except
Yeah.
for
Well, it's funny. I said that I don't really forget things that often, but there was one trip last year. I did the Halls Creek Narrows in the south end of Capitol Reef National Park, and I assumed that the charging cable um, that I brought for my battery bank would work, but it was the wrong cable and it made it so I couldn't actually
oh
charge my phone.
oh okay
I had to be way more like aware of my battery consumption and what I chose to film, and
right
created
yeah
dumb unnecessary stress as a on a trip.
well the only thing I can remember another thing is my forgot my video camera already left at home.
Oh
So I
no.
got up there, and so there's one trip that I never got filmed, which was fine. It's actually kind of nice when you can go out and not film trip, and just
Oh
enjoy
yeah.
it. And there's
Yeah.
another time I forgot my SD card. I had no
I
card
was
in my
just about to ask, how many times have you forgot an SD card?
right. So now I always have a backup one that's always in
Yeah.
there.
I think it was who was it? Somebody recently posted about they put a SD card in their first aid kit,
Oh, okay.
so that like there's no way that they could ever
No way
forget,
you can ever forget one.
unless you forget to put the card back in your first aid kit.
Right.
Right.
I've had cards that were corrupt already and lost my footage.
Oh no.
So there's been a few trips that never got filmed.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that. I just bought a GoPro, and so many people have talked about how they have issues with GoPros,
Right.
like shutting off in the middle of filming and then not saving anything, or like having to pull the battery out and it having to reset and everything. Like I know Frozen, he had major problems.
Yes, I know.
And I thought about him before I bought the GoPro, and I was like, I hope I don't have the experience that he had.
Oh, I know. He had a lot of bad luck with his. But then I hear other people say they have very good luck, and they make them a lot better than they used to.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, so far it's it's worked out pretty good, but we'll see.
Now, does it have a zoom on it yet or not? Is there some kind of
Um,
zoom?
well, there's the different like lens settings. There's like
Mm-hmm.
super wide, wide, and then linear, then a like a narrow view. But it's
Right.
not. It's all like optical. It's
Okay.
within the software. It's not actual
Oh, okay. So right, you can still do it
movement
and
of the
edit if
glass.
need. Any foraging videos?
No, not really. In fact, I've done very little foraging. In what was it, 2019? I went to the Olympic Peninsula in Washington and foraged for mushrooms, but I
Hmm.
didn't. I don't think I'd put that in any video. In fact, like I wouldn't be able to tell you what to look for, especially here in the desert, of what to eat and what not to eat.
Right.
That's something that I'd like to spend some time
Yeah.
to understand the plant life a little bit better.
Yeah. That's like we were talking about Adventure Archives before we went on a live stream here. They do a lot of the Andrew on there, a lot of the about plants and that he'll discuss in the video what
Hmm.
you can eat. You know, he knows everything, or almost everything. So
Yeah, that's cool.
let's see, any new backpacking fishing videos coming up?
Not
No.
currently, um, but in the future, I'm planning to add some stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I know Justin had Justin Sylvester. He's in our YouTube creators group.
yeah,
He has videos of fishing and stuff. He has a very good channel actually.
yeah. Um, one of my friends, Dustin, the backpack blazer. He's
Yeah.
got a channel that he does here in Utah. Hasn't been as active lately, but he does a lot of fishing. And the Tenkara Addict is
Hmm.
another good channel that's here, like Utah, Idaho. Um, he he lives, I think, yeah, I think he still lives in Idaho, which oddly enough, like, is kind of a tangent, but his name's Tristan, and Tristan and I actually
Hmm.
know each other from being in the climbing industry together. And I was researching, like, we had climbed together 20 years ago, like rock climbing, and uh, I was researching like Tenkara videos and found his channel, and I was like, wait a second, that's Tristan. I know that guy.
uh, yeah, I just had to happen a little different, but somebody local from my area here, because I don't tell anybody that I have this channel. Very few people. He says he's looking up Porcupine Mountains because he want to go hiking there, and he couldn't believe he
Hmm.
saw my face. Says,
Yeah,
"Oh, I didn't know he did that."
that's awesome.
Let's see, where are we at? Probably losing Hike Mike. He says Florida Trail starts in Everglades, and you could take an east route or a west route. Goes through a few Seminole reservations in the south, and there are some great parts like the Green Swamp.
Nice.
I know I'd love to hike in that swamp.
With the gators.
I would take Mike
That's
with though.
like I have an
He'd have to be my
irrational
guide.
fear of like alligators and
The
crocodiles.
snakes and all that.
Yeah. The fact that a snake can move across land without legs,
Right.
like, this just defies physics in my mind.
I know we almost stepped on a prairie rattlesnake. I think that was in Wyoming, right around Wyoming, South Dakota area. And that's
Hmm.
something that you don't want to get bit by.
Yeah. Yeah. Rattlesnakes are not fun.
Yeah, so some hikers told us there's a snake right there. I mean, we were like 2 feet away from it. It just curled up and didn't rattle or nothing, just looking at us.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's lucky.
Hmm. Beach near Alabama border. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with all these hiking areas in Florida.
I know that's so out of my wheelhouse of.
Right? I've never been Smoky Mountains, that's the longest drive ever taken further south. So someday I got to make it to Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Mike, I think you should try through hiking that. That'd make an excellent video.
Yeah.
Okay, Brenda says, y'all talking about the Florida Trail in Utah reminds me of snakes. Snake being in camp. Have you had an issue with a snake in your camping area?
No. And like, I'm glad that I haven't had any issues. I've come across rattlesnakes here and there, but not honestly very often. There's a bunch of other like kinds of snakes that they're not poisonous. They would never harm you or
Right,
anything, like gardener snakes and
right,
um, I'm blanking on the name of the others, but yeah,
right.
haven't had snake issues.
Yeah, where I live up here, there's no venomous snakes at all. Up in
Hmm,
Upper Peninsula,
interesting.
Michigan. Yeah, we just got like the western fox snake. That's probably the most aggressive one. They'll bite you and leave teeth marks on you. So I mean, you
But
have to.
it's they're not
They're
venomous.
not venomous now.
Oh, interesting.
So we're kind of lucky for that, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah, Hike and Mike, Adventure Archives rock. Yeah,
I'll admit, and I told Bob this before we started recording. I've actually never watched an Adventure Archives video. I couldn't even tell you what they look like, or
except for
uh,
I showed you a picture or something.
well, sure. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I've never watched an Adventure Archives video. It'd be all these people are like, "This is my introduction to YouTube and how I started like
Right.
learning about backpacking." Like, oh,
Brian King, hello. Welcome to our stream. Outdoor inspired. Let's see if we can.
yeah. No, it's great to see everybody hanging out. It's nice to see all the questions too.
Thanks for joining us for the stream Outdoors Inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're caught up finally in the comments. I had to go through it quick there. Any last minute comments for Devin? Or questions? So you have any big hikes planned for this year, 2022?
You know what? I have not planned anything. I'm leaving. I'm headed out to go spend a solo trip down in Moab this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Gonna go play around in my Jeep and just camp out of the Jeep, not do any real hiking. So I'm gonna go film a bunch of videos, and part of it's a work trip. I'm gonna be doing some video work for Waymark,
Uh huh.
um, and creating some content for some new pack models that we released in November. So trying to get some more information out there on those. And but outside of that, I don't know. I want to spend a lot of time with my kids outside this year, and
Okay.
so probably going to do a lot of car camping and
Right.
a lot of day hiking. So I haven't planned any like big multi-day trips because
Right.
I want to spend some time with my kids this year.
I know I get asked that often. What kind of a trip are you going to go on this year, or big trip? Or we don't plan our trips very often. They're usually last minute ideas.
Yeah, and that's pretty often how it works for me. I'll be like, it's April and I haven't been on a trip for a while. Let's go to the desert somewhere.
Right.
So yeah,
The only problem is up here is that almost everything is you have to reserve ahead of time now, and it's getting hard to get campsites
is
for
that
like
right?
for us. Pictured Rocks, Porcupine Mountains, that's kind of our closest areas. As reservation, only. So you have to plan 3-4 months in advance.
Yeah, I can imagine like in those areas where there's less public lands and like state parks fill up with reservations and there's just like in general fewer places to go backpacking. Like
Right.
I don't know, I feel spoiled being here in Utah because I can literally I can drive 10 minutes out from my house and
Hmm.
I'm in BLM land and I can camp anywhere I want.
We have a lot of forest land that's, like state forest and like that, and that's all free camping. But it's not really
Like dispersed open camping.
yeah, yes. You
Oh, cool.
follow all the normal rules. So I mean, there's areas like that, but they're less popular. You don't have the big scenic areas.
Sure.
It's more, it might be by a river or something like that. It's nice though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you tried a hammock a few times, right?
Yeah, I've done a handful of nights in a hammock. I've got a hammock gear Wanderlux system
Mm-hmm.
that's my current hammock setup, but I just it's difficult to find good places to hang
That's true.
in here in Utah, and even in the Uintas where obviously it's national forest, it's like pine forest. The
Mm-hmm.
issue up there is so much of the forest has been killed off by beetle kill
Oh,
that there's a lot of like sketchy places to hang because you've got widowmakers that could come down at any time.
right.
And I've like been woken up several times by trees falling around me in the area. So you just have to be really selective, and it's not a guarantee. Like when I when I was out with Tim Watson,
Okay.
those three guys brought hammocks, and two of the 4 or 5 nights they were forced to sleep on the ground because we just
Right.
couldn't find a suitable place for everybody to hang.
Right. And
So
how did you sleep in your hammock when you did find a trees to hang? I mean, did you find it more comfortable than a tent, or do you like your tent better?
I like my tent.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I just have my system dialed.
Right. That's the key.
So and I'm a side sleeper,
Mm-hmm.
and I move from side to side like very often during
Right.
the night, and it's difficult for me to get comfortable in a hammock that way. So
I think once we get the sleeping pads, the good ones, that'll be the key for tent camping. So you can
yeah,
wake up morning, you're not stiff as a board.
yeah, and one of the systems. So um, just a couple months ago, I got a Haven
Right.
hammock tent. Have you seen those?
I've seen them, yes. I mean, I
Yeah,
haven't
so
really watched the video.
yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's honestly not something that you're. It's like 7 pounds for the whole system with the sleeping pad. So it's not lightweight by any means. But it's a pretty cool setup where you've got a lay flat hammock essentially with a sleeping pad. But I mean, it's essentially a hammock, and I don't know. I'm pretty excited to try that out and put it to use this year.
Now, for your tent, what sleeping pad are you using?
Um, so primarily the Sea to Summit Pure Light XP is
Okay.
the most recent pad that I've just kind of raved about.
Uh huh.
But I just picked up the Nemo Quasar and going to be testing that, and pretty excited about that. So,
And
but
what
I've got a
pillow?
handful of others that I use too.
And I know I've seen videos in the past with all these different pillows you've tried. What's your go-to pillow now?
Right now, the Nemo Philo, as well as the Sea to Summit Aeros Premium.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the Aeros because like I can get enough height. I like
Mm-hmm.
a tall pillow for side sleeping. It just makes it way more comfortable.
I remember I used to think pillow, that's a waste of weight, you
No
know.
way. It's
And
so
then,
worth
then
it.
I then I bought I think it was, I don't remember what company I was that was they're like giving away pillows for pay for the shipping. Shipping was expensive. I don't remember if Outdoor Vitals did that
Oh,
or
probably.
I think so.
Yeah.
That pillow was awesome. I loved it. my favorite pillow ever. But then after about a year, it started losing air all the time. So now it's in the garb. It got thrown away. And my
Yeah, it's
wife had one also.
probably the one way valve was just not
Right.
sealing anymore.
Right. My wife had one also, and the same thing happened after about a year.
Hmm.
And so we don't use them anymore. And I ended up buying one
Yeah.
from Dutch. It's already filled with some kind of material
Oh,
inside of
okay.
it. It's not
Yeah.
one you blow up, but it's it's all extremely small. But I have to have a pillow now. Ever since I
Yeah.
had that one.
I don't blame you.
What's your luxury item that you take with you? It's got to be one item. It seems like almost everyone always wants this luxury item with that they take.
Yeah, that's kind of funny because I don't know. I've kind of gone like the opposite direction a little bit with
Okay.
thinking, oh, I want to be this like huge ultralight, like sub 10 pound base weight, but I've actually like shifted the other direction and
Mm-hmm.
where I don't really care about that as much.
Yeah.
Um, I like a good chair.
I never tried a
Definitely.
chair.
Yeah, a chair is, I wouldn't say it's a must, but makes a huge difference in just the overall comfort. Because I don't do like huge miles per day, and so I end up in camp for quite a bit longer than I think a lot of people do.
Right.
But yeah, a chair, absolutely worth it. Um, I don't know. I think even having my phone and watching movies on my
Yeah.
phone in my tent
Right.
is pretty luxurious and something I really enjoy. So it's a
Right.
nice
I
way
had
to
my
wind down.
that was kind of nice when I did my Superior Hiking Trail hike. 13 days, 12 nights.
It's a long time.
213 miles ended up being. But at night, it was nice to have my phone. I could just, and I was watching Frozen when he's hiking his Appalachian Trail hike. He's doing it the same time I was doing that trail. So,
Nice.
so I'd watch his, so he's vlogging it every couple days or something. So I'd watch his vlog.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, it's Buckley.
Yep, backpacking at Buckley.
What's
Hello.
up, my man?
Let's see what we got here. Oh, yes. Hiker Mike, he likes tents also. I,
Yeah.
I'm excited to try a tent out this year. We did our last trip. We relived a trip from many years ago, and so I pulled out my old Walmart tent, and we hiked out and we slept in a tent. It was kind of nice. It was
Well,
different,
now that you've got that marmot, you just need to get out and use it. Don't just let it sit on the shelf.
right? Exactly. There we go.
What else we got
Hello,
going on?
Joel. Joel's on here.
Yeah. No, it's great to see everybody in here. It's super fun. Have a
Oh,
great
I
time.
enjoy these chats, these live streams, and I got everybody chiming in on here. And Frozen was a lot of fun. Oh, he was on here for a long time. I think almost an hour and a half. He could talk forever.
Yeah, I've probably got maybe 5 or 10 more minutes, and then I got to go
Yeah,
put
that's
kids
about
to
it.
bed.
All right.
But happy to answer any other questions that are coming through.
South Dakota soon.
Oh, Tim, we need to chat. You know that I want to go spend some time in the Badlands
Yes, I want to go back out
and the
there.
Black Hills.
I want to go to Black Hills. We did the Badlands a few, back in 2016. Nice, cool area, and yeah, I'd like to go to Black Hills. Definite. I can't remember the area is called. There's the highest point. There's like a old fire tower up there.
Okay,
Yeah, it's like
I'm
a
not familiar with it.
yeah, it's pretty cool hike up there. A lot of the trees are dead there also, just like you're talking about in Utah.
Huh.
It's for some reason, was it some beetles or what? Oh, we have Brenda. Have either one of you had trail angel experience that helped you out? Yeah, I did when I did a Superior hiking trail. I had someone handing out water at one point, like Gatorade. Someone recognized me.
Like a road crossing or something.
Yes, I got to a road crossing and people are handing out for through hikers for a Superior hiking trail. Then there's a couple that recognized me from YouTube and they made me a breakfast in the morning. That was nice. A
That's
huge
great.
breakfast. offer to take me to town if I needed anything, but I was on a schedule, so I couldn't really do a whole lot extra stuff,
Fair enough.
Badlands
We
and
don't
Black Hills.
we don't have any long trails here in Utah, so there's not people out in the remote backcountry of southern Utah in the desert just cooking breakfast for people.
Right. Open invite. Black Elk Peak. There you go. I think it was actually called something else at
Tim
one
would
time.
know.
I think they had changed the name and it was something else at one time. I could be wrong, but I thought it was. Because I remember looking into it. It was part of our plan for that trip, but we ended up going to Wyoming.
Nice.
Oh, Brenda does trail angel duty in southern Michigan.
Very
Witness
good.
before-
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see people like volunteer and give back to the hiking community.
Yes. And all
It's
the volunteers
really cool.
that work on the trails. Oh gosh. All the boardwalks they put in and bridges and it's amazing how much work they do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like it's kind of a snowball effect. Once you've been given some kind of like trail magic, or you see how much work goes into trail maintenance, and then you find yourself volunteering and doing it yourself, and it's very, very rewarding.
Right. I haven't done that yet, but I should. Mark, sir, how are the Black Diamond skis? Do you have skis? I bet you ski in your
Yeah, I know what he's referring to. So the Black Diamond Glide Light skis that I picked up this year.
Okay.
That video, Mark, that you probably saw, was the only time that I've been able to use them so far. I had a pretty busy December. My daughter had some surgery, so I didn't get out as much as I wanted to. But those skis are amazing, and definitely like a different experience than snowshoes. I wouldn't say that they're better than snowshoes. They're just like an alternative for a different way to travel. There's some critiques and things that I would change on them to make them a little bit easier to use. They're terrible going downhill. Like they have a metal edge, so you can like turn on them a little bit. But like there's not enough camber in the actual edge of the ski to be able to put enough weight on it to be able to get it to turn. Plus like the binding is pretty finicky with how it's set up, but I think they're great and I don't regret the investment in them. So I'm hoping to get them out over the next couple months a few more times. And I know that like Justin Outdoors, he's had a lot of time on those skis. So if you've not watched his channel, he did a review on those recently, and that's worth checking out if you're interested in those skis.
Yeah, and I watch a lot of videos. It's hard to remember everybody's, but like on my phone here, I'm subscribed to so many channels. I mean, I don't even know who's all on here. Bad signal. Antenna Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have cable TV up here anymore. I just do everything on my computer. Do anything I watch, And as far as the TV, we got rid of cable years ago. And I just have a TV antenna up on our house.
Oh, nice.
But we don't get very many
keep
channels.
It simple.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. A couple of last questions, maybe. Oh, Harney Peak. That's what it was. That's the highest point in South Dakota. It's over by Mount Rushmore area. Yeah, they changed the name for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Very nice.
Oh, she gives food, water, rides, and one through hiker borrowed a sleeping pad. Oh, that's
Good
really
deal.
nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I remember I had too much food on my hike for a Superior Hiking Trail. I didn't eat as much as I thought I would, And so, and then there was a couple of, well, they weren't through hikers. They're doing a section. And they were running low on food, and I give them some. I was like, oh, I got so much. I was glad to get rid of it. and they were happy.
Save that weight.
Yeah, and they were eating that food like you wouldn't believe. They were starved. That's one thing you want to make sure you have enough food. You do a hike, and
Yeah.
especially if it's many days, because it's hard to predict. You know how much you're actually going to eat.
Right. Right.
No, well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, Tim, and everybody
Right.
else. This has
Yeah,
been
and
great.
everybody else. Yes, a good crowd here. So, all right, I think we're gonna end it here. It's a lot of fun doing this live stream with you, Devin.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite, Bob, and
Yeah,
good to finally meet you like in chat,
right.
in person like
In
this.
person like this. And Hike and
That's
Mike, this guy's always following my channel. He's a great guy. He lives down in Florida.
yeah.
Great
Thanks.
live
Thanks for the
streams always.
conversation,
Yeah,
Mike.
thanks, Mike. So again, thanks everyone, and we'll see you at the next live stream. And
Yeah.
just hang
Have a
on
good
for a
night.
couple of minutes, and I'll talk to you.
Okay.